How we doing, EDL? How we doing, DZ? Good
Happy
morning.
Happy Friday, Nate Dogg.
Happy Friday. Good morning to you. Busy. It's been a great year in the EDL so far. We're about the midway point. We're sneaking into some bye weeks. We're starting to see another team starting to sell. Maybe a third team started to join the party as far as buying and selling different teams, maneuvering for the future, maneuvering for right now. But another great week. A lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to get another person into the Hall of Fame today. Preview, review, all the good stuff. First, our confidence picks and survivors. We're down to two. And the survivor is between you and Seward, maybe? That's a guess.
It's a good guess.
Yes, you and Seward. You already got your pick in. Seward, get yours in. We'll see who is the winner of that. Confidence picks have been going pretty well. We see a handful of people at the top sticking with it, so make sure you stay those if you want to compete for the E-Bucks. I did do some work yesterday on the site, starting to get it back tidied up, so if you see some numbers or some things change on your page, feel free to text, feel free to ask what I'm doing, but hopefully within the next 24 hours, maybe the site will be back up to date for a change. And then if there's anything over the past couple weeks that you've texted me about to fix, feel free to send me a reminder. Will not bother me, and I will get it taken care of here very shortly. What else do we got going on? Week's been good. EDL, Survivor Pool, blind bidding seems to be going smoothly. You got any other notes, or should we just get right into the Hall of Fame and then just boogie on down, DZ? All right, so today we're gonna circle back and look back at what we almost did last week and just cycle back to it. But we're gonna get another running back in our Hall of Fame pool voting. So recap: we have we have Adrian Peterson, Le'Veon Bell, and LaShawn McCoy as our running backs. And then our receivers, we have Julio Jones, Stephon Diggs, Calvin Johnson. Now, who's the last person we put in?
Brandon Marshall?
Brandon Marshall. There you go. I have it all on my phone written down with their notes, but that's off the top. So we're going to go with the 4 and 4. Going to get one more running back in there. And I'm going to give you the two competitors first today, DZ. Before I go one by one, I'll let you know who each other are, and then I'll go back and do the stats. But our first person we have is Todd Gurley, as we all know and love. I do, very dear, true friend of mine. Versus DeMarco Murray. So two very well-known names, two good guys. Let's circle back at the top, go to Todd Gurley for you. As we all know, there's some big peaks and whatnot. Todd Gurley, I'm just going to rattle off. He spent 6 years in the EDL, and DeMarco Murray also spent 6 years in the EDL. So very, similar stretches. And then they both had a big 4-year stretch of that 6 years. 4 years where they were really top of the league in the running back finishes. So we're going to go to Todd Gurley. Oh, hello there, kid. We got a little cameo. Do you want to say hi to Dan?
Hi.
Hey, I'm doing I'm doing a video with Dan. Can you go away?
Yeah.
All right. Shut the door behind you. So we got no school today, so this was all done while the kids were asleep, but not anymore. Maybe I'm being loud enough. But anyways, back to Todd Gurley. Let's look at his finishes over his 6 years of in the EDL. So hopefully follow along with me, DZ. 9th, 13th, and then first. He led the league all 1 year in all of running back scoring. 3rd, 15th, and 24. So 9, 13, 1st, 3rd, 15th, and 24. So to key on those big 4 years of 9th, 13th, 1st, and 3rd, that was 58 games, 6,430 yards, which comes around to about 110 scrimmage yards per game. He had 56 touchdowns in that 58 games, so almost a touchdown per game, and 187 catches, which is about 3. So you're looking about 110 yards from scrimmage, almost a touchdown per game, and 4 catches for Todd Gurley in the peak of his peak. Now, Todd Gurley was never in the. He doesn't have any Super Bowl rings. Todd Gurley really never did. He had some big ass weeks in the playoffs, but he was never really on a success. He spent a lot of time on mine, went over to Robbie's, but never quite got his shine in the EDL playoffs to do something special. But the one thing Todd Gurley does have over DeMarco Murray, he's got a franchise named after him, DZ. And I don't know if you can take that lightly when doing Hall of Fame votes. Whole franchise named after Todd Gurley. I think that's very formidable, you know. So here we got a guy who had a great peak of his career, led all running backs in the EDL. I think he was the high point scorer that year. So definitely had a very big peak. Todd Gurley, one of the best running backs we've seen. And then we go to DeMarco Murray, let's go to 6 years that he had. So 26th, 6th, 1st. He also led the league 1 year, 1st, 15th, 4th, and 20th. So Todd Gurley had a little bit of a higher peak, but DeMarco Murray still had the 6th, 1st, and 4th finishes. Now let's go back to his big 4 years. In 61 games, he's averaging 6,420 yards, which is just about 10 yards less, maybe even less than that, 6 yards less per game, scrimmage yards, than Todd Gurley did. He has 42 touchdowns. Out of 61 games, isn't quite on par with Todd Gurley, but he did have 207 catches, which is roughly the same, maybe a 0.1 more catch per game than Todd Gurley did. So statistically speaking, they're very similar. Todd Gurley was the better touchdown guy, but very similar as far as production. I mean, Todd Gurley's got the slight edge. But what DeMarco Murray has is 2 Super Bowls. He has one in 2013 with Rupp and one with 2015 with Rupp. In his 2013, he was very good. He had, like, in the playoffs, 26, 24, 18 points per game. But in the 2015 Super Bowl, he only registered 0.7 fantasy points for all of the playoffs and the Super Bowl. He was only started one game and got 0.7. So you have Todd Gurley, excellent peak. DeMarco Murray, excellent peak. DeMarco Murray with the 2 Super Bowls. Todd Gurley with the franchise named after him. DZ, what are your thoughts on getting one of these guys into the Hall of Fame pool?
I feel like this is a no-brainer. I'm going with Todd Gurley. And I'm going to tell you why, Nate Dogg. For a few years, this guy was the talk of the EDL. You know, whether it was, I mean, it was like, this guy is the best running back in the league. It was almost like the Le'Veon Bell effect. Like, this is the guy you wanted on your team. I don't remember that with DeMarco Murray. You know, I mean, even though he was on Ruff's team, we knew we weren't going to get him because he wasn't going to trade him. But I mean, there was never any talk that DeMarco Murray was the best player in the league. And you know, and this is right about the time we added Jerome, and I think Jerome like just kind of poo-pooed our little party with Gurley, talking about his shitty ass knees. But dude, Gurley was the man. Dude, Gurley was without question the best running back in EDL for a few years. Whether he finished first or not, he was the best.
I wouldn't be surprised if we took his 4-year run and put it up against anybody. He might be, well, not anybody. I can only think of 2 guys that are, maybe 3 guys that are just blowing the stats out of the water. But those guys won't make the EDL Hall of Fame, I'm pretty sure. Not yet. Maybe a couple years. But Todd Gurley, he's one of my favorites. I love the guy. Jerome clearly loves the guy. You named his franchise after him. But I think, hey, another good Hall of Fame guy joining Adrian Peterson, LaShawn McCoy, Le'Veon Bell, Todd Gurley. I mean, that's pretty much the best of the best when it comes to what the EDL has put out. Hall of Fame. I'm digging it, DZ. I love it. Another good player. Let's boogie on. Let's talk about last week. Last week's games. Go through some previews. Honestly, I was looking for some numbers. Man, if we just look at stats, it was actually kind of a low outside of freaking Edwards. It was a relatively low scoring week. If we just sort last, yeah, who do we got here? Oh, I don't even want to look at this guy balling out. But yeah, across the board, if you just look at the tops, relatively low scoring week. We're gonna get right into it. Who's our first person? I can't results. First game, Kyle. We're gonna go to myself. We got Glory Hole Prospector Rupp getting his win, putting up 250, which was a solid score this week. I only put up 219. Pretty shitty for me. I would have loved to get this win. Going to the little notes I have, I put down Nate can't beat Rupp. I think this is 2 years, 3 years in a row. Rupp's gotten my ass. It's been a long time since I've beaten him. Your day will come, Rupp. But for now, we're going to talk about your pay dirt, DZ. Who did well for him?
Hey, we're going to go with a guy we kind of picked on last week. We're going to go with Dak Prescott, Nate, 27.4 in this one. Bounce back week for sure. He had 40 yards rushing, a touchdown, 272 yards passing, and another passing touchdown. Unfortunately, he's still 2 solo tackles behind Desmond Ridder in that chase, in that race for number 20-something quarterback or whatever it is. But good game nonetheless by Dak Prescott.
And give me his Joe Dirt.
I went with Rashard White. Look at Nate. The thing that we've seen with Rupp over the years that's kept him so strong is his running back room. But now we look at it, Josh Jacobs ain't doing what he did last year at all. We know that. And Rashad White coming off a 8.2, his first single-digit game of the year, Nate. That room is starting to look a little bit shaky for Rupp.
You definitely would have liked to get him this week. Let's go to my team and my pay dirt.
One of the best players in all of the land here. Definitely a shoe-in for the Hall of Fame once he hangs it up. Nate Dogg, the Cheetah, 28.6 in this one. 6 catches, 163 yards, a touchdown. Nate, only one game without a touchdown all year for this guy. He's number 1 wide receiver at 161 points. The next closest guy is Stephon Diggs at 139. So pretty much just dominating the wide receiver rankings. And then, there is one guy, Keenan Allen, averaging over 25. But besides that, Tyreek's the only one at 26.3 points per game.
They're 814 yards receiving this year.
Oh goodness!
And it's week 6. We're going into week 7. Give him a $180, $185. Let him get to 1,000 in freaking 7 weeks. Who's my Joe Dirt?
This one's easy, man, and it sucks, man. Super flex for what, Nate? I mean, Ryan Tannehill, 1 point, Nate. I took the liberties of writing down some things that you get 1 point for in this league. 25 passing yards, Nate, you get 1 point. 10 rushing or receiving yards, you get 1 point. 5 rushing attempts, Nate, you get 1 point. If you make an extra point, you get 1 point, Nate. 2 defensive assists. That means if someone tackles a guy and you kind of just lay on him, that's a point, okay? And a quarterback hit is also worth a point. Nate, 1 point? Listen, bro, you're going to have to address that QB room eventually because it's not looking good so far.
Oh, yeah. They definitely held me back this week, as well as fucking Mostert, man. I might have won with Mostert.
We can talk about that a little bit later, but
yeah, I don't know. Good win, Rupp. I hate to see it next year. Hopefully playoffs, I'll be able to get my revenge. But for now, you win again. Moving on to our next game, we got Matt getting the W on you. This is a sub 200 game for 2 guys. This is a battle of the 2 defenses. Matt, first win against DZ, I think I put in 3 years. So, taking advantage of this year, getting back to it. Give me Matt's pay dirt.
Yeah, I went with Jared Goff. Look, I mean, the guy has been really consistent all season, Nate. 4 games over 20, 3 games over 26.7. That's what he had in this one, was 26.7, 353 yards, 2 touchdowns. I guess a really good Tampa Bay defense. Jared Goff is definitely back and flourishing under Dan Campbell and company. Actually, Ben Johnson is the real hero over there in Detroit.
Good for Jared Goff. Who is his Joe Dirt?
Yeah, hey, a little bit of fool's gold here. I saw Matt put Mark Andrews on the trade block. I thought that was interesting. But that was on the heels of Logan Thomas going for 25.2. Maybe he wants to pull Mark Andrews back off the trade block because Logan Thomas only went for 1 point. Seven in this one, Nate. One catch, 2 yards, and only one target. Yeah, yeah. You might want to hang on to Mark Andrews when I don't think Logan Thomas is the answer.
Probably correct, and especially if Matt's trying to make a play, you need those at the playoffs. You need to look some guys that can pop off. Let's move on to your team and give me your pay dirt.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop disrespecting pay dirts by giving my team a pay dirt, and we're not going with a pay dirt this week because I don't deserve a fucking pay dirt. I'm not giving it to my fucking kicker, Nate. So we're going with two Joe. We're going with two Joe Dirts this week. Marvin Mims, you fucking sold me 0 points. Von Miller, you fucking sold me 0 points.
Marvin Mims outperformed his last week's score, so that's improvement.
That's true.
Good win for Matt. A little bit of a low score. You better not bring that shit next week, or I don't know if it's gonna work out. But good win for him. Move on to our next matchup. We have Weekend at Gurley's. Jerome, do I have any notes for him? 2 years running, beating Seward. So Gurley has had Seward's number the past couple years. 206, another smaller score. That's okay. Let's go to Jerome's pay dirt.
Yeah, I went with the Sun God, Nate Dog. 30.4 in this one, 12 catches, 124 yards, a touchdown, 15 targets. He's up to wide receiver at 12. I'm on St. Brown with 30.4 in this one.
Good game for him. And dude, Gavin told me a little side story. I don't even know if it's fucking true, but I'm gonna say it. But the Saint Brown, it's not even his parents' last name. That his dad just wrote Saint on the birth certificate because he thought it looked better. Completely made up. Saint being a saint.
The dad seems a little
yeah, the names, and he put Saint in there, and it's not even part of the family. I don't know. Anyways, give me his Joe Dirt.
I went with Russell Wilson. The ugly game on Thursday night here, only 8.9, 95 yards. First single-digit game for Russell this season. And then I put a little start out here. I wanted to just quickly discuss with you. What do you think about Jerome's roster construction? Real quickly, let me just put this out there for you. He did have two elite quarterbacks in Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence. And now he has turned those guys into a really good, like, wide receiver core and Jahmyr Gibbs, whatever you think about that guy. But now he's rocking with Geno Smith and Russell Wilson, first year of Superflex. Tell me what you think about that strategy going forward for Jerome.
Well, I'm weighing out a couple options here, right? Option one, or you don't want to give Jerome bulletin board material, which likely is going to come out of my mouth. Number two. No, I think we play this game to, and like Jerome's quarterbacks are still better than mine, so I can't really talk shit. Dude, the name of the game is getting the two top Superflex guys, getting two top 10 quarterbacks, two top 8, two top 6, whatever you can do. I think Jerome had it. I think he let it slip away. Maybe buying into the fucking Geno Smith, bruh. He's Geno Smith, and he had Herbert, he had T-Law in the building, and he let him get away. He let him go.
Justin Fields too. I mean, let's not discount that. I know Justin Fields is hurt and had a bad game, but I mean, we're talking about three really, really high-scoring quarterbacks. He said, "Get out of my building. I want all these young wide receivers. I want a monopoly on all these young wide receivers." But now you're looking at it. If he doesn't land like a Caleb Williams, what if he slips all the way to the fourth pick, Nate?
Might as well be my team.
He's not even in play.
My team, that was in the bottom of all those fucking polls on the off season because I ain't got shit for quarterbacks or anything else. Jerome, you might as well be there right with me. But no, Russell Wilson, they might be good enough. But I've got to say, if he's looking at playoffs and he's thinking he's going to make playoffs, he can't feel comfortable. I don't think anybody with a quarterback situation like that is feeling too strongly, no matter what you have surrounding them. I'm kind of in the same boat. But anyways, Jerome, good win. Or no, we still got to talk about Seward. So we talked about, we talk about St. Brown and Russ. All right, let's go over to Seward real quick.
We're on to Seward now.
Seward, what's his pay dirt?
Yeah, well, we just talked about it right here. Very affordable quarterback most of the season right here. And maybe Seward's best trade out of all of them. He got Sam Howell and what the Kirk Cousins deal. Maybe a guy who went under the radar a little bit. 25.1 in this one, Nate Dogg. Only threw for 151 yards, but 3 touchdowns. Hey, 4 games over 22 or more points this season is really, really impressive. I would love to have that on my team. I don't think Stafford's done it one time.
Yeah, I think Sam Howell might be legit. I'm not sure, but I think that's okay. Give me his Joe Dirt.
I'm gonna give you an option. Do you want Han Dotson or do you want Quentin Johnston?
I'm not ready to take a L on Quentin Johnson. Let's go. Let's go, Dotson.
Yeah, okay, all right. 0 points in this one, Nate. Same as Marvin Mims. Only 37 points through 6 games. This guy reminds me of Darnell Mooney last year when just getting super hyped up. Edwards just kept throwing him in his lineup, and I think we were on this show making fun of him every single week.
He would give it. What point do you like? Because they say it's dynasty. Give him another year. Give him another year. Give him another year. What point are you like artificially making hope for some of these? That should be my team name. Artificial hope.
Love it.
Move on to our next game. Here's Edwards, 288. Bringing up the heat, bringing up the average score. Doing some wild things. Really, I said, yeah, you get one more win, maybe, Edwards. Maybe I'll go look and see what your numbers have been in relevancy to what you've ever done before. Good win for him. 288 to 235. Good score for Robbie, but we're talking about Edwards. What's his pay dirt?
Dude, what a pussy number, by the way, Edwards. 288. That's all you can do? God. Dude, I remember hyping this guy up midweek, and now everybody wants to crown this motherfucker the champion. I still don't think he's as powerful as all the Pete teams we've seen. But, hey, anyways, I got off track here a little bit. Adam Thielen playing out of his mind, Nate Dogg, 28.5 in this one. 11 catches, 115 yards, touchdown, 13 targets. Really mastering the art of garbage time, Blake Bortles time. And Nate Dogg, if you take out his very shitty score in week 1, even over Tyreek, bro, number 1 receiver this year, if you take out week 1.
Fucking 33-year-old Adam Thielen, go figure. What's his Joe Dirt?
I went with Mike Evans. Really strong start for Mike Evans. 8.9 in this one. Back-to-back single-digit games. He got the work. He got 10 targets in this one. Just couldn't really get it going against a really good fucking Lions defense, allegedly.
Allegedly. All right, good score for Edwards. And let's talk Robbie. What's his pay dirt?
How about you do the pay dirt? How about you do it? You pick it this week.
Fucking Raheem Mostert for Pete's second round pick. I swear to fucking God, if we get into weeks 15, 16, 17, and this score happens, I'm going to fucking lose it. I'm never trading anybody again. Ever. Ever.
I understand why you did it here, but Nate Dogg, this hurts a little bit. Hey, we're looking at 3 total touchdowns in this one, 37.6. He now has 11 touchdowns on the year. Nate Dogg, that's leads the league. He's got 2 more than C-Mac, who I believe has scored a touchdown in every game he's been a Niner.
Dude, Mostert has more touchdowns than half the fucking teams in the NFL. Yes. Like actual guys scoring. He scored more touchdowns than the fucking Falcons. I know that much.
Easy.
All right, give me his Joe Dirt.
Yeah, I went with Calvin Ridley, man. It makes me. He played last night, so it kind of pushed me in this direction. But I don't see anyone else I could have went with besides Calvin Ridley, even though Devontae Smith's been struggling as of late. But dude, 4 catches, 30 yards, 8 targets, and I was just catching clips of the game last night, and the Jags could not make a play, and then all of a sudden they throw a 5-yard drag to Christian Kirk, and he takes it to the end zone. It just seems like we were just hoodwinked. We were brainwashed in this offseason, of clips of Calvin Ridley running routes and doing this and doing that. And he's not even the best receiver on his team. I'm befuddled. Maybe he's betting the unders on himself.
Probably make a little dough, make a little extra side cash. I like it. Good win
Oh,
for. Oh, come back.
real quick, a side note. Micah Parsons could have won this award as well this week.
Dude, I'm not in on the Micah Parsons hate, but I'm here for it. If that makes sense. So, good win, Edwards. Robbie loses. Good. I fucking needed Robbie to lose. Move on to our next game. We had a big one, a big win for Bird here. Second win, I believe. Hopefully, I'm not wrong, but second win ever against Pete. I think the only other time was in 2019, maybe Bird's first year in the league. Second time getting it done, 255 to 218. Bird, give me his pay dirt.
Now, we with look if you look at his numbers, it's very I don't know, it's like the word like symmetric. Like everyone really chipped in on this victory here, but I just went with the highest score. I went with Justin Herbert. I just wanted to point out how good of a year he's having. 24.2 in this one. Nate Dogg, it's only his fourth best game of the year. So the consistency that he's getting from Justin Herbert, he's kind of not getting that from Josh Allen. A couple games under 20, he's getting those high games, but Justin Herbert's really stabilizing. And guess what? He's had his bye week. Now Bird has him for the rest of the year every single week.
You gotta like him. Gotta like him. What's his Joe Dirt?
I went with Don Kincaid, and it's kind of really on Bird here. Bird's really the Joe Dirt here because you're going against Pete. I feel like this is a tad bit disrespectful. Everyone knew that Don Kincaid was like questionable, probably wasn't going to play in this one. Well, he stuck to his guns, kept him in his lineup. He had a David Njoku on the bench, only 6.9. When you're playing against Pete, you need every point you can get. Generally, I don't think I would have went with a guy that was probably not going to play unless I had, because it was a Sunday night game for Buffalo. I don't think I would have went with someone that was, unless you had some backup for like Monday night, something like that.
Ballsy strategy, Bird. Ballsy strategy. Yeah. Move on to Pete's team and give me his pay dirt.
I went with Brees Hall, man. I think right now we're looking at the besides Bijan, the premier running back. I mean, I guess we just talked about Mostert. But, I mean, we're talking about a dynasty asset. Brees Hall is him, all right? 22.7 in this one, Nate. Not a lot getting done on the ground because Zach Wilson's, the Eagles aren't scared of Zach Wilson at all. But he did catch 5 balls, 54 yards. Last 3 weeks, Nate, after we thought this was going to be a Dalvin Cook season, he's the number 8 running back in EDL.
Damn, really? Number 8? That's pretty good. Give me his Joe Dirt.
I went with Justin Fields. I mean, and listen, I don't know how I just keep coming back to this guy, and I just mentioned him as a great quarterback, but only 6.2. He did get hurt in this game. He does have a bump thumb. But, dude, I mean, he's such a polarizing player, Nate. When you look up there, it's it's always like feast or famine with this guy. It's like 6.2 or fucking 40, It's not like Tannehill where it's like 1 or 9, It's like fucking, we're either getting a fucking dope game or just what the fuck happened game.
I can't remember a player that's had this wild of a roller coaster of value in a matter of just week by week basis. The highs and lows, pretty incredible.
Absolutely, man. You want to trade for him, but it's like, I don't know, man. It's like the forbidden fruit or something. It's like, I feel like I'm going to die if I can take a bite of this.
Yep, good win for Bird. Just keeping it rolling. Only 1 loss so far. Definitely a strong team. Pete's team still was on a heater a little bit, but got slowed down by Bird. Moving on to our next game, we got Casey getting the win, 240 to 193. Casey, another man, he might have been 0-2 or like 1-2 to start the year, something like that. But turning his team around, he's now 4-2. Good win for him. Let's talk about his pay dirt.
Man, see, man, hey, Tua Tagovailoa. 28.2 in this one, Nate. Number 3 quarterback in EDL, but let's talk about some more things. He leads the NFL in yards at 1,876 yards. That's 312 yards a game. And I don't think it's even close. I think he's 200 ahead of, like, Kirk Cousins or something like that. Tied for first in touchdowns with 14. Second in the league in completion percentage is 71.1. And he's first in yards per attempt at 9.5. true breakout season for Tua in this one. Man, congrats to Casey for having this guy in his lineup.
Dude, he got Burrow and Tua in the same draft, right? I think, right?
I don't. Yeah. Yes.
Dude, not a bad.
But that was before we were doing. That was before we decided on Superflex, right?
Yeah, but good. I think as Casey, as long as he holds on to those two guys and they stay healthy, he's always gonna be a sneaky team. What? Give me his Joe Dirt.
I went with T. Higgins, man. He's hurting. You know, you'd expect more from a guy who's about to get a contract, trying to get a contract. Only 4 points in this one. Nate Dogg, 4.1 or less in every single game except for one this season. The Seahawks are not a good secondary this year so far, and they pretty much shut T. Higgins down in this one.
Let's move on to Zoe's team and give me his pay dirt.
Nothing really pretty on this one right here, but I went with just something that gives him a little bit of hope. Jonathan Taylor, Nate Dogg, he's starting to get more of the work there. The big thing was he had 5 catches for 46. One of those was a 40-yard catch and run, which, I mean, you got to be happy with. You want to see something from JT. He's going for a new contract as well, so you want to see something from him going forward the rest of the season.
He did look fast on that play as well. He looked good. Give me his Joe Dirt.
I went with Baker Mayfield. Only 7 points in this one, Nate. 206. Coming off a bye, that's kind of after a good start to the season for Baker. To see the old Baker is kind of depressing.
Agreed. That's a good win for KC, keeping it up. Let's pick some games for this week. We already had one start in the book. Two teams have quite a good start on their opponents. The first of which being Edwards, fucking Travis Etienne with a couple touchdowns himself. But we got a big matchup, probably our matchup of the week: Edwards versus Bird. Gonna go with Edwards because I want to beat him first.
I mean, how do you not go with Edwards after fucking 2 running backs last night?
Yeah.
Fucking Jesus.
Fucking Edwards. Sorry, Bird. Let's move on to her. Hold on. Edwards, 2-6 against Bird since Bird's come into the league. I think I did that right. I think this is Bird's 5th year.
Dude, what a heavyweight matchup right here.
2-6. So Edwards trying to get back to similar to 500 against Bird. Next matchup, me versus Jerome. Jerome's got a fucking great start. I'm still going to take myself. We are 500 against each other over the past 3 years. So been back and forth. I'm going to go myself. Don't fuck this up, DZ.
Dude, Nate Dogg, you cannot survive a 32 spot from your linebacker. Oh my God! Has Parsons ever done that?
Dude,
Parsons never had.
That was Homeboy's first defensive touchdown of his career, and he fucking doesn't that always seem like it happens? You see those sitting in whatever. Let's move on.
Dude, he's a really good linebacker though. Like
we're both picking me. Let's just move forward. We got Robbie versus you. I'm going upset. Fuck it. I'm going full upset.
It's funny, Robbie's got Ritter. Is Stroud on bye? Ritter's in the lineup. Dude, Ritter's going to shit the bed. Ritter's going to have a negative point game right here. Should I put I'm going to start Heineke. Because I think Ritter's going to get benched, and I'm going to put Heineke in right now. We'll do that right now.
Ballsy. Actually, Robbie doesn't fucking lose a matchup until Mostert's on bye. So we're picking Robbie.
Yeah, Robbie's going to beat the fuck out of me.
We got Rupp versus Zoe. Gotta go Rupp. It looks like Rupp still got to fix up his lineup a little bit.
Why did Zoe have like 5 people go on Sunday night or Thursday night?
I think Zoe messed up on his lineup. But we got to go Rupp. Let's go to our next one. We got...
Just move on.
We got here for the hurt. Matt versus Pete. Matt hasn't beat Pete since 2017, DZ. 2017. He swept Rupp this season, which was fucking impressive. Does he keep it going the division heat against Pete?
I doubt it. I'm trying to figure out who I want to win this game. I think Pete.
Dude, Matt's big 4, just the top 4 names on his team: Goff, Hurts, Eckler, McCaffrey. That's enough to win. I'm gonna go
It's
Matt
crazy
here.
you put Goff in there. It's crazy you put Goff in the big four.
It is
He's
though.
been good this year.
It is. He's in there. I'm gonna go Matt here, but this is a tight one. We'll see. We'll see. You went Pete. I went Matt in our last matchup. DZ. We got Chris versus Casey.
Oh, is that a game?
Casey's got 100 zeros. It looks like they both still need to submit their lineup. There's no Bengals this week, so no Burrow. I guess Higgins doesn't really hurt.
What the fuck?
I'm no Dallas, no Dallas, no. I might go. We might have an upset watch on our hands. All right, we gotta hurry up and pick and get out of here. I'm going. I'm going Casey.
Casey. Holy shit, it's bad though.
All right, EDL, realest ever. Good shit, DZ. Talk to y'all again soon.
Please.